GM gentlemen, man, yesterday we were talking about how down bad the meme coin and runes ecosystem was. And then I saw the chart of the Solana meme coins that were kind of second tier. And oh my God, dude, it literally looks like a bloodbath. Holy crap, dude. Everything is like fully retraced. That's insane. I didn't realize it was that. I didn't realize it was that bad when we were talking about it yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, some of them big ones, right? Ones you're like, holy cow, wasn't that like $150 million at one point? It's down to like $2 million. And you're like, oh, wow. It's really have gone all the way back. Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe big memes are over. Maybe it's possible. But meme coins aren't fucking going anywhere. Just look at pump.fum numbers. It's still fucking nuts. So that gambling aspect on gambling on whatever's new, that's not going anywhere. But show us some charts here, bro. Which one are you looking at?
Dude, Dogecoin dominance is back to 50%.
Yeah,
I wish they would.
I was like, that's crazy, man.
I wish they had like an actual Dogecoin dominance, which you see here on CoinMarketCap. But the total market cap of memes is 98 billion. Dogecoin is at 48 billion. So just 40, it's like 49.5%.
Wow.
Trump, dude, really came in and just took the number 3 spot. Just rolled over anyone. Like I was, we always talked about, in the industry always talked about what a Trump meme coin would be like. I don't think we were actually ready for him literally just plowing everything over.
The only mistake they made, I think, was they didn't do enough tokens. No, because the price is too high. The price is too damn high. For the monkey buyer out there, you need that number to be like a fraction of a penny. So whatever, rather than doing 1 billion tokens, they should have done like 30 billion tokens. Because yeah, that number, the $26 or whatever it is right now, people they glaze over that and they don't get in because they see that number. So that's the only thing I think they did wrong. But yeah,
although the average Trump buyer, I think if they just got one Trump coin to them, that's probably pretty special. No, Chris is our local Trump strategy firm. Is that how you are looking at this?
Yeah, I kind of like the unit bias on it. It's different from all the other like cent kind of supplies, cent unit biases. And I mean, look at the volume on it. It's by far the highest volume meme every single day in, day out.
Yeah, literally higher than Dogecoin by like 30%.
It's basically the highest volume traded coin every single day, other than Solana and Bitcoin and a couple of stable coins. So, I mean, people like the token. People are spending billions of dollars on it every day. And I think that they like that unit bias. I think that I think you're going to see that over $100. I think that that's kind of like the goal. That's where I would be shooting, is Trump over 100. So I think that unit bias gets him there. And I think it's a different approach, which I think is kind of refreshing.
Yeah. So are you buying it when it comes down to somewhere in the like 3 range, 3 billy is your like target? If it hits those levels, you're buying more?
That's like super cheap. Yeah, I've been buying it since like 38. So I like anything around 30, 25. 25 seems like a good round number. But like I said, these markets are going to get crazy. But I mean, he's literally the single most memeable person on the planet. I mean, he takes over the entire timeline of the entire world every single day. If I was going to invest in a business, I would want that business to have a direct link to the president. I think that that's like a super underrated feature of this coin. Doesn't mean it's going to work out, but I think if you're playing probabilities, it's new, it's shiny, it doesn't have a ton of last cycle bag holders. It has a direct line to the guy with the most access on the entire planet internationally, and I think that it's the first real political coin from any major state figure. I think it has a lot of unique features, so that's one of the more exciting coins that I've seen come out recently.
There's only 7 memes that are over $1 billion. I think at one point we were at like close to 20.
Another thing too is that they hold 80% of the supply, so there's actually only 20% available on the open market. Plus, some of that is exchanges, so there's only like 10% of free float available. So that's extremely low. So we'll see what happens with it.
Yesterday, Dog with Hat dropped below $1 billion. That's when I was like, wow, damn, this shit has gotten slapped. Even Pudgy Penguin.
I answered posted on. I was like, oh wow, his bags must be down, bro. when I don't even follow him at all. I don't want to see him on my timeline, but he popped on my timeline. I was like, oh, he's out there, doing the work now. Trying to get that.
Dogfather did some good analysis on Trump coin. What's up, Dogfather?
Hey, GM. Yeah, Chris, really, really great to see you being bullish on Trump. I think it's a super interesting coin. I personally am a bit afraid of this 80% stuff that's getting out at some point in time. So I'm not sure whether buying right now is the best time or waiting till some of the supply shock is incoming. But in the long run, let's say after most of these supply is circulating, it may be an interesting play, right? I had a look at the holder distribution. And as you're seeing, 10%, I think, roughly 10% is at centralized exchanges. So only 10% is basically traded on chain at roughly 700,000 wallets. And if you look at the average, or let's say some smart average holding, this is just around 2 Trump. So there's many small holders. And if you extrapolate that to what is put on centralized exchanges, you can assume that 10 to 20 million holders are on Binance, Coinbase, and the like. So it's really a very widely distributed coin, even though of course there are huge holders that sit on a large share of the supply. I think this is one of the major risks from my side. But I mean, definitely in the long run, there is no bigger meme, right? So really looking forward to where this is going.
And with the supply, you can look at it as an unknown, obviously, but there's so many different things that he would be able to do with it. He can burn 10, 15, 20%. He can allocate it to some sort of city municipal fund or government municipal fund. There's just a lot of freedom, and so you have to let your imagination go and say, sure, can he just nuke the whole chart? And would it be unexpected in hindsight that he would do something like that? I don't think anyone would be caught off guard. Oh shit, he literally just stole the money. Basically, I think that's
What about an airdrop, bro? Who would be in line for the Trump airdrop? That might be something interesting.
Maybe the Melania bag holders.
Melania, what's Melania at right now, Jake? What's Melania?
I'm sure it's down.
I don't know. Let's see. I'm gonna have to come down here a little bit to find it. It's not even on CoinGecko. Doesn't look like.
It got crushed. It got crushed.
Dude, Bohm is down to 220 million. That's quite surprising. Popcat has got obliterated. Dog's gotten obliterated too, but still holding on around 350 mil.
That's
seems
incredible on Bitcoin, man, isn't it? How the fuck is that still at 350 million?
And Mog is even almost down to the same price as Dog, to be honest. But Mog is at 430 million. So
yeah,
a lot of these
listing, that thing got slacked.
Yeah, that was the top. I mean, you look at runes as well. Runes are down pretty bad. AI coins are down pretty bad as well.
I called it down. Every coin is down, but
I know. Yeah,
I was thinking about this yesterday. Everyone thinks that their ecosystem is dead. Ethereum thinks that their ecosystem is dead. Meme coin trenches think that the trenches are dead. All the runes ecosystem, Bitcoin ecosystems, they think they're dead. Who's alive? Is that a shorter show? Who's alive?
Bitcoin holders.
Bitcoin holders. That's it.
I mean, even
we're all Bitcoin holders, so that's not a bad thing, right? We're still alive.
Yeah.
I guess the question is, do some new narratives spin up, or are we still, macro intact to where, the memes and runes and some of these current trends just continue to accelerate? Is kind of what I've been looking at to see. I don't know for sure. I think the Kaido thing is kind of interesting. I've been following it more, obviously, because I've been participating in it. I got in early, I guess, is
let's see that. So explain to people who don't know what you're talking about, what this is, because I'm sure a lot of people have missed this on the timeline. As far as my understanding goes, it's something of a social media tracker. It tracks your activity on Twitter and gives you kind of these points for a lot of interactions with other high value people on Twitter. But that's as far as I know about it.
Let me pull up my dashboard here, and I'll show everyone kind of the inside look on it. So when I saw Kaido pop up, this was last month. This was in the middle of December. I saw people keep quoting mindshare, this word mindshare kept popping up, and I was like, why is this continually popping up out of nowhere? And I looked in. It's this platform called Kaido. I have it pulled up on the live stream. It's also Kaido, KAITO.ai. And you could come in and you can hook up your Twitter account, and it tracks your sentiment and your reach, but they have an algorithm. They say it's AI in the background. I don't really know which one it is, but they're weighting your text-based responses against your video content, and then it's measuring against the type of reach that it gets. But also they created something which I think is kind of the key indicator here. It's called smart followers. So if you go to your social card here you could see up here, I have it pulled up. I have 1,050 smart followers. So this tracks me as the top 0.81% in the crypto Twitter kind of industry, I guess, for everyone who's kind of linked up to it. So it says I have my highest ranks today, 3,457. So there's about 3,456 accounts that have more than 1,050 smart followers, which they use their algorithm. And then it says crypto mind share, and the top that I've gotten into the top 0.02%, which was about a year ago. But then they classify these different types of metrics in terms of like, are you a shit poster? Are you a curator? Are you a bull critic, etc. And so I noticed this, and I signed up, and you get something called yaps, and it's actually gotten a lot more difficult to do. I was getting like 20 apps a day. I haven't changed my strategy at all. I see people trying to game it, similar to kind of what people were doing with Top Shot. I think it was not Top Shot. What was the one on Blast?
I mean, this
Fantasy
is
Top.
This is the exact thing though, where my brain goes, "Oh, this is just like this is flash in the pan," right? Because it's like those other social apps, same deal. It's like, what was that one? I had one on my phone. I can't remember, where you bought keys. Was that Fantasy Top where you bought the keys for yourself?
No, that's Friendtech.
Friendtech. And
yeah, this is a little bit different. So they're so here, I show here on that. So I'm ranked 276 out of everyone on crypto Twitter. So I have 860 apps. You can see, dude, AI XBT just dominates everything. Like you just can't keep up with it. It's literally an AI that tweets. It has 19,000 yaps, and then you have Mert and Ansem are 2 and 3. And basically how to get a yap. Initially, it was like if you're just tweeting and you have long form text-based content, then it's just giving you a yap. But now that as more people have entered, it's gotten a lot more difficult, where now I'm getting like 6 or 7 yaps a day. Before I was getting like up to 20. And what they've done now with these yaps is they've created something called Kaito Connect, which I'm sure you could see, which you've seen people posting about. If you follow Bread Guy, he's been posting about Mega ETH. And so basically here, where you can vote, you have your voting power. And I've already voted. And if this team wins, if a project wins, then they get a YAP leaderboard. And you can kind of see down here, you could go into these ecosystems. Like, for example, you could go to Bearchain, and then you can see like who's the Bear influencers, essentially, like who's creating the best content. And I think this is great for content creators, because if you become a Bear influencer, then if you're a Bear builder, if you're building an application, then you just go directly to whoever is the top person and say, hey, I'll pay you to create some content, or, I'll give you some free tokens, or kind of whatever the case is. So I think this does bring it brings the ecosystem alignment a little bit closer. So I think it's really good for the application layer. So right now they have, there's like eight or 9 different kind of communities. So what Kaito Connect is doing is, if you have yaps, you basically vote, and then they build, your yapper leaderboard. So it looks like Mega ETH is going to win. All the OG Labs has come up close, and I think it closes here in the next few days. So then a Mega ETH influencer board, essentially, or like a mind share board, I guess is the best way. Will pop up.
I see Zach AI expertise in like multiples of those groups. So it's not like you vote and you're in one group, or how does that act? Do you know how that works?
Yeah, so you can dedicate your voting power. So if you go here, this is where I think they're actually pretty smart. You take your yaps and you multiply it by your smart followers. So for me, I have 800 yaps and 1,050 smart followers. So that gives me 80,000 voting power. And you can delegate it wherever you want, and it refreshes after 7 days. But what's happening now, and this is kind of what I've been interested in, obviously now I'm incentivized to pay attention. I've seen 2 different platforms pop up to where you can basically sell your voting power.
Oh, yeah.
Because these teams want these leaderboards, because it's good for the ecosystem, because then they can, if you're aware of who's tweeting more, right? For example, if we got if we were a blockchain and we had an Emblem Vault one and we created it, then we would know, who's tweeting about Pepe, who's tweeting about Bitcoin ordinals, right? Who's vaulting to to base, but then the creators, and then it brings the protocol or the blockchain closer to the creators, and then again for the application layer. But here's the caveat now: is there's 2 applications I've seen so far that are creating voting share marketplaces, because these teams are seeing this valuable for like $50,000, $100,000. These are all VC backed. So you've seen on timeline, people are selling their votes for between, I've seen people say $3, upwards of $10 per voting share per YAP per week. So, you know, these people like Ansem, who
Wait, show us
has,
these. Show us these accounts. That's crazy because that's a lot. Like you have a lot of. Well, let me look what I have. I have like, so it's like per follow
per YAP.
So if you have whatever.
So I have
So-
800 yaps. The
Gotcha.
going rate from what I've seen is $3. So it's like you can make $2,000 a week doing this. My question is, so I found 2 different platforms so far. One's called Yap Trade, and another one was like it was kind of like an influencer marketing platform. So we'll see which one kind of takes off. My question is, you know, how long does this actually last for, right? Is this something that lasts like a month, or does this thing just basically cannibalize itself because everybody's just kind of bribing each other to get these? But then, you know, the ultimate kind of implosion would be if Kaido gets involved and starts like kind of gaming the winners, even though these like internal markets are trading these shares, which is always possible. It's crypto. But I'm going to be participating to see. I mean, you know, you're not going to leave $2,000 on the table if that's it. Some teams, you know, I've seen upwards of $10, right? So that could be $8,000 in a week, I guess, USDC. One of these platforms I've seen so far, Yap Trade, is just OTC. I don't remember if you remember like early Doginals and early Ordinals, where it's like they have a Discord and they're like, tell us how much Doji you have, and then we'll pair you to a buyer in a Discord. And then this other one is more like whale market, where what's it called? It's called, I have it here pulled up. It's called Tunnel, TUNNL.io. Another one's Yap Trade. And with Tunnel, you actually, the company puts up a campaign. So there's one called Multiply.fi has put a campaign up, and you could basically put a bid as a creator. So I saw people were saying $3. I put up $3,000 for 800 yaps, and then they basically put it in an escrow contract to see. So we'll see, right? But my question is, yeah, is InfoFi, right? Does this whole mindshare thing, is this something that's like a mega trend, or is it something, you know, that's more of a temporary kind of thing?
Chris, what do you think, man?
You know, there's a lot of attempts on it. I think social will be a thing at some point. I don't know if this is the one, but it seemed like Friendtech had the best traction, and they just nuked it with their token supply.
Yep.
So I saw like Tribe on the timeline a lot. Saw some of these newer ones. It looks like we're going to run back SocialFi. So there's a couple new businesses that got some funding, and it looks like they're looking to spend it. So I think we'll go into SocialFi round 2 here pretty soon. What do you think?
I mean, what's the value for me to actually vote? Do you think they're gonna, like, when they do a token drop, if I've voted and taken part in this, I'll get like some reward mechanism? Is that the idea?
So there is going to be a Kaido token. So I think that's the current incentive. There's 2 incentives if you're just somebody who has a large account, but there's a lot of people I see who have like 2,000-3,000 followers who are getting like 100 yaps a day as well.
Wow.
From what I'm reading, it's
like, how is that possible though? I looked at mine. It's like 1 yap.
Well, from what I'm seeing, it's they're valuing lengthy posts, like text-based content. So they want, like, I don't know how they're measuring it, but if there's a way to measure like how long it takes to type out a tweet to guess like its uniqueness. Because I've noticed that whenever I'm like quote tweeting, it's not getting any apps, but if I'm doing like a lengthy post, then it is getting some. So there's some sort of legitimacy there. But it's incentivizing people to get yaps because they're going to do a token. But then also you have these now voting shares where people can basically sell the vote. So it should theoretically people should just continue to do this. But, you know, at what point does the Kaido mindshare board become saturated? It's like, do you need one of these mindshare boards for every blockchain? If so, then this whole voting share thing probably has a lot farther to go. If it's something that is a little bit overrated, and the blockchain mindshare board, like, do you need to be able to track the mindshare and influence of people per blockchain, right? Does Polygon need one? Maybe, maybe not, right? Does Solana need one? Yeah, 100%, right? Does Base and some of these other ones? Yeah, of course. But I guess it depends on kind of those metrics. So we'll see. I'll either get rich from it or just fucking implodes.
Baby.
Wait, so your strategy though is to sell every week? You sell your votes. That's
yeah.
the basic.
Why would you not do that, right? I guess my expectation would be that I'm a little iffy. I feel like there's going to be some people trying to game this stuff somehow, and then there's going to it happens with all these token farms, right? It happened with Blur. It happens with all these kind of social engineering. Do you remember 3-3 with Friendtech, where it was like, hey, if you buy mine, I'll buy yours, and then everyone just started dumping on each other. and I'm seeing in this like this Yap Trade Discord where people are like, hey, if you follow me, I'll follow you as a smart follower. So people are trying to do the same thing with the smart follows because it's an amplifier.
Yeah.
I know Kaido is looking into this because I've been reading some content around how they're preventing Sybil attacks like this. I don't know. We'll see. If it's InfoFi though, like Mindshare seems to continue. I think it's a lot more important in the AI space. That's what they call themselves, Kaido AI.
I mean, the Mindshare just is like a metric to understand, influence and stuff is interesting. It takes it beyond just the like views thing or followers count or something like that. But I don't see how it creates value really, other than just the gambling metric of it. Dogfather, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting experiment. I don't know how long this will last, but who cares, right? I mean, it's hot right now. People are already making some decent money. And I think it's another way that content creators can actually make a living and beyond just what X pays or whoever's paying. And you have these two layers, as Jake was already describing, right? You can sell your Yap and your smart follower count every week. And I think this is recurring revenue, which is pretty cool for most people. Plus, you also gamble on the actual Kaito airdrop. So there are two things. One is more long-term, and the other one is like weekly. It's a nice combination of something that's coming within, the cycle somewhere where you have some weekly stuff. And of course, competition is way harder. So I typically wait until it's hard. So I just joined like 2 weeks ago. I didn't want to have like a 1,000.
I didn't want it easy,
simple stuff. No, really. I mean, I do ice bathing and marathons. I was skipping the first week, so that's nothing for me. I want to really earn one Yap with very hard work.
That's right, man.
So I think the team is shipping quickly. The page is looking pretty cool. So it looks relatively solid from my point of view, and there's not too much to lose, right? You just link your X account and then do whatever you want. And then if you want to vote for something, you vote, and if you sell your votes, you do that. I mean, there's not too much to lose. I would say you don't have to invest anything rather than just linking your account. So I think the downside is relatively limited. And then, of course, some people want to game it. But, I mean, the bigger accounts just do whatever they do and just take the free money.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened with Friendtech as well. So we'll continue on. I'll keep everyone updated. I do have something random that's not crypto, but I wanted to bring this up because I thought it was kind of hilarious. I don't know if anyone saw this yesterday. That Dr. Phil is doing Dr. Phil is doing ice raids in America on illegals. That was this is like one of the craziest crossovers I've ever seen between celebrityism and government affairs.
Dude, the video, I don't know what I saw. I think it was Jon Stewart or something. Did it? Because Dr. Phil's like, you know me? And the guy's like, yeah, you're Dr. Phil. He's like, how do you know me? It's like, how do I know you? You do one thing, dude. It's the Dr. Phil show. That's it. What do you mean? How do I know you? Get the fuck.
Dude, one of the craziest things that I've ever seen. But this cycle is just going to be
like
absolutely
Steven
insane.
Seagal being a police officer in like Oklahoma or something, right? It's just stuff you just don't ever expect to see. It's just crazy town, man.
He probably has like a meme coin launch coming up.
Yeah.
He's on the circuit. He's in the media tour. He's doing whatever he can for attention.
Wait, we haven't talked about Dave Portnoy. Do we think he's going to drop a token, man? He's been dropping
He's
hints.
definitely going to drop one.
Has he been hinting at it?
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
he's been talking about it every day.
he's like, but I won't rug everyone, but I want to make a ton of money.
The reason why he's going to drop one is because he's bitter that he missed the Bitcoin run, and he wants to get his hand on a lot of Bitcoin for free. That's exactly why he wants to do it. So that's why he will do it, in my opinion. So
interesting.
Good. I mean, he's a legend of the internet. So
yeah,
a crazy fan club.
That he is. I saw here that Trump's media company is now buying Bitcoin as well. So literally Trump, everything affiliated with Trump is just going all in on crypto. He has a meme coin now with a treasury of, what is it, $40 billion or something crazy, right? $20 billion. World Liberty Fi is just clipping into ETH every day at $1 million clips. And now his media companies is DJT on the stock companies says they're going to buy 250 million in Bitcoin. Man, dude, this guy is literally turning into the Bitcoin color. Like he's going to come out with a Bitcoin logo on him at some point.
We're supposed to be bearish, man. We're supposed to be bearish on crypto right now. I
mean, the president's buying, the president's kids are buying. I guess technically he's probably the biggest meme coin holder in the world, right? Other than if that 6 billion Doge is Elon's, then it might be Elon. But it's that's funny. He's the biggest meme coin holder in the world.
So when Elon had to go in and do a deposition for something, he actually had to share what his Dogecoin wallet was. I think this is when Doge was at 10 cents or something. It was at like $1 billion. So I don't know if he is the largest one, but he's definitely one of the largest Dogecoin holders. But he actually has it in the name of his son. So it's not actually technically Elon's. It's his son's Dogecoin.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of people actually know that. Although you expect it, right?
Yeah.
Adam, I would love to learn a little bit more about this VVV, Eric Voorhees, as you were somebody who used the platform. And you got an airdrop, and then all of a sudden something happened with some gaming people, insider trading. Give me the 4-in-1 on literally what is going on here. What is Venice? Why is there an airdrop? And then why is everyone turning on Eric?
Well, Venice is basically ChatGPT, but in theory doesn't collect your data. I guess the one thing it does do is expose your VPN or your address, but you can hide it behind a VPN. That's what Eric says anyway. And he says that they don't collect. So any prompt you give to the GPT, you can it doesn't collect any info. So it basically goes to the Venice, as far as I understand, it goes to the Venice system. Venice actually issues the query for you, and then you get the return. But it's basically through the Venice system, and they don't store anything. So in theory, you have this it's like a VPN, but for an AI system. And you can select from a whole bunch of different ones. Not only ChatGPT, but all the different ones for images, and you can actually select which one you're using at any particular time. That's a nice feature, but it's not, to be clear, and I still have used it over the last couple of days, because actually I just posted today, what I use for Pepe meme generator has now been basically banned on ChatGPT. You can't generate Pepes anymore.
They greenwashed ChatGPT.
Yeah. And so I tried a couple different Pepe generators on ChatGPT, and they're all banned again. But so that's the product. And when he launched it, I think in May of last year, I signed up for it because I wanted to support him and doing something that was protective of privacy. Because look, this is the thing. These AI search tools and AI agents and all this sort of stuff, dude, this is the new big brother. And we know if you're using it for search or whatever, it's going to know everything about you. So privacy always for me is something that we should at least have the option to have. And so I supported Eric doing it. But I think he's super smart. He's if not a genius, he's right on that level. And he properly planned out this token drop and dropped it not only to holders or people who paid for the premium platform, which wasn't much. It was like $40 for the year. But dropped to them. It dropped to users. So if you used it with any regularity, I think you got a much more increased drop. And then they dropped to a bunch of token holders on base. So if you were whatever, a Vader token holder or virtuals or a couple different AI agents over there, you got massive drops. We talked to a guy yesterday who got like a huge, like 35,000 tokens, which at $10 a token minimum was 30, 50, I don't know, 100 grand, whatever it was. I mean, crazy numbers. And that wasn't for the average user. Trust me, I got like 200. So but anyway, so they did the token drop to all those holders as well as different communities. The issue then becomes is like, well, what are the tokenomics? Well, the tokenomics are Eric and his team owns basically half the supply. A lot of it obviously is going to liquidity and going to exchanges and stuff like that as normal. But the team basically sold, I think it was about around 1% yesterday. Team and people on the team. The launch pad, which is I think Aerodrome, basically they caught a couple of their own people making money off the initial token drop before it was actually announced. So doing some trading there early on, and just doing shady stuff. They said they got fired, people on the timeline were like, oh, they got fired as well as made $2 million yesterday. So pretty good deal, if that's the worst that happens to them. And so that's basically it. But what you have right now, it got listed basically everywhere. And this is what really got people pissed, was that immediately, I mean, it's like Coinbase, Binance, all the big exchanges have already listed it, which is crazy. I mean, I guess Trump token's the only other one that kind of got it that quick. But that just leaves this really bad taste in your mouth. Like, Jesus, man, how is it that something that's basically half owned by insiders gets listed immediately while community-led tokens basically have no chance? I think people were pissed about that, but as we know, Eric is super connected and he probably set this thing up the right way. But be very careful. Like, if you're buying this token right now, understand a lot like Trump, this is completely controlled token, and the team has a huge bag which they could dump on you at any time. So I mean, it ran up to like 2 billion or something like that. I think it's retraced a lot now. You can pull up the chart. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, I saw some people posting some wild screenshots yesterday of this free airdrop. But
if you were a buyer, a net new buyer, would you rather buy Trump coin or BVV at today's prices?
I mean, I'd be in on Trump, just because, I mean, like I've said it now a couple of times, like the Venice product, is it transformative? He's basically gives you an interface to work with somebody else's AI, which I'm not saying that doesn't have some value. That does have value. Being able to access like a lot of different AIs. It was one of the things too. It's like, you don't have to run this on your own system, yet you still have privacy, right? People want easy. I know they want easy. But I haven't found it to be very good. And that's the thing. It's like, wait, it's not good either. Like, I just don't, I don't know. They've had a year to work on it and it's still not very good. It just seems like I'm fading it,
Fade. Did you sell your bag?
I did. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah. The toughest part with one of those is being reliant on someone else's systems, and they can throttle you. They can rate limit you. They can upcharge you based on your inputs. So whenever you build your stack on top of someone else's stack, you're completely reliant on their outcome, and that's not always what's best for you. So it's their dependencies are kind of out of whack.
Yeah, I mean, and how is it going to, like, how's the value going to come back to this token? Like, how's that going to work? Like, me paying the $40 a year, that's going to get pushed back. Like, I don't think that's going to happen, right? Are they going to rebuy tokens with that? It just seems like this is a well done token launch, like really well done by a guy who's been here for the entire time of crypto, knows exactly what he's doing. And is going to make a ton of money off of it. But do I think like people buying it are going to make a ton of money off of it? It seems unlikely. Could be wrong.
Again, with Venice, he probably has like the two biggest kind of exits for like a single or dual person team in crypto back to back. That's pretty nuts. You don't see too many. Like, I mean, it's him, and I think maybe he has a CEO. I think it's a girl. I think I've heard her a few times.
Yep.
But I mean,
Shapeshift was quite innovative at the time.
yeah, it's crazy.
Shift out that exit. Speaking of innovative,
Shapeshift, Satoshi Dice, bro. The dude is like
Satoshi Dice in Venice.
Crushed.
Because he made a couple 100,000 Bitcoin off Satoshi Dice.
120,000, I believe, something like that. But speaking about innovation and things that have been happening in the ecosystem, did any of you guys check out Abstract launch yesterday?
I just checked out some posts on it. I didn't actually get on the chain, but what's good with it?
So I did browse around. It felt quite light on the crypto side, just a bunch of top performers. Right, Emblem as well. We've been talking with them, so be excited once we're over there. It seems like all of the rage is really around the streaming platform, to be honest. That's where my attention kept getting drawn to when I was on it. There's a tweet somebody put out that in the last, I guess, 24 hours, tips $2.5 million in tips to the streamers there. I saw some streamers made over $50,000 on a stream yesterday. Granted, I was watching it for a little bit. A lot of the tipping was in the Pengu token, which has been going down. So I thought that was kind of a cool cyclical effect where it's Abstract. Abstract's going to have its own token as well, but a lot of people are tipping in Pudgy in the Pudgy Penguin meme coin token, which is kind of cool. They did have a lot of top streamers on there. I guess also all the streamers get an Abstract global phone. I don't know if this is like their own phone they're trying to get into, or if this is like a branded one of some sort. But
cool idea, man. They do have some good ideas over there. I love that.
It's a nice cyclical kind of environment. So going over to the website, right? It is pretty clean. They use smart wallets, so you can sign in with an email, which is what I did. I just signed in with an email. Or you can sign in with MetaMask or some of these others, or you can open up an Abstract wallet. So it is very simple. You land on the page, you see the spotlight there, right? Magic Eden for trading. There's a few different types of games. I think they have 60 or so different applications that are there. 68, yeah, that are initial. I was listening to a podcast yesterday with Luca, who said that they have about 100 different applications that are going to go through this portal as well. He said that they're not letting anybody and everybody. It's like very selective. He said they had thousands of applications to get into this. So it's the cream of the crop getting in here. You can come in and upvote the application as well, right? They have these kind of social things where you have to pay a small amount of ETH, right? It says 0.001, so a few pennies to outvote to see what gets here. So there's some gamification that exists in this as well, and some of these other ones that are coming soon. You can trade internally. Like, the interface is clean. Their whole premise is, attacking the non-crypto native. Specifically, Lucas said that they're targeting the people who are 35 and older, who generally were not born in the internet era, who have no idea how to use the internet in general, is like the type of people that they're targeting. And yeah, it looks clean. But at the end of the day, the streaming is really kind of what I keep coming back to, which I thought was a really smart idea.
Interesting. I saw, who was it? Oh, the Ordinal Revolution guys were like, hey, Emblem, let's get a stream. And I think they applied for us. I actually did apply for us too, to stream. I didn't hear anything back from them. I don't know. This is the kind of thing where you can see right now, if we saw that post from Trope Farmer or whatever, which is like, okay, they've made $2 million in tips. It's an interesting way to try and get big streamers on the platform, right? Because we know how hard it is to make money streaming. Very difficult. And if you can attract some real world streamers who are streaming on Twitch or YouTube or whatever to come over because they see an opportunity to make money here, that could get really interesting really fast. because it's really, really hard to make money streaming. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see if they can really attract. I don't know how they're actually applying the marketing to non-crypto native people, because obviously all I'm seeing is the timeline. Like, but how are they trying to reach out into, the YouTube world to get not only streamers but viewers? How is that happening? That I haven't seen yet.
Yeah. So they do have some badges, right? This is targeting just that everyday kind of gamer, the people who understand game theory. They have the different types of developers. Like it's really well done. It does bring up a larger question, which we've talked about on the show many times, which is actually part of our own philosophy, is what happens to L2 space? When he went on, I forget which show Luca went on. I posted in our team chat yesterday, but they were asking him why build an L2. And he basically just said that the whole space was wide open. He said that he doesn't think general purpose L2s are going to be successful in the future. He did say he sees them more as a tech stack. So Abstract, I believe, uses Celestia, but he noted that he said Base is really the only competition in the Ethereum L2 space right now. It's the only one. He said they're killing it. He said he looks at Polygon, Optimism, Polygon, Optimism. What's the other one? Arbitrum. I think there's another one that are the general purpose L2s, where basically this is what you build your app chain on top of, right? This is Base used Optimism tech stack to build theirs. And so he actually kind of, Luca, I don't see, kind of just shit on everybody else. He said that the space up until this point is basically like branding and that there's not that many developers. And he said that the space is very underweight developer talent and builder talent. And he said maybe he's discrediting themselves, but he's basically saying that they're going to speedrun this entire thing and take the crown.
Well, I mean, what is it he's exactly building? Like, he's not building a streaming platform on a blockchain. It's like, they're doing a streaming platform, and then you can tip in crypto and stuff. I mean, that's okay, but did they need a separate blockchain for that? I mean, come on, let's be honest. The reason they did the separate blockchain is so they could get a fresh token batch. I mean, that's period, dude. I mean, I hope he's not like deny. Like, I mean, there's no way you can deny that. That's the entire reason for doing it, is so that the Penguins could open themselves up to a brand new, fresh round of sweet, sweet tokens. I mean, come on.
We love tokens in this industry.
Yeah.
I listened to that. I listened to that pod. It's pretty good. He gets fired up, man. That guy. He gets super fired up to talk about it. But all in all, I took away a different takeaway from Jake. I think that I got, and maybe this is what Jake was saying, but he was kind of bashing Ape Chain. He was kind of bashing Arbitrum, Optimism, all these others, because they were too tech heavy rather than being heavy in memetics and heavy on the social layer. And so he thinks that layer 2s are more of a social layer. And, he has the penguins, the toys and everything else. And those all have like QR codes that you can scan, and they'll propagate a transaction on the Abstract chain. And so if he was going to push transactions to any chain, he was like, it might as well just be on Abstract, and we can build from the ground up. And so that was kind of my takeaway. I think it's decently smart. I think he was pretty pointed towards Ape a lot in saying that they went way too tech heavy when they should have gone way more socially heavy. And that's kind of the lane that he's finding in Abstract.
So what do we think? Do we think you think they take the lead? Do we think more?
I mean, is there a lead
L2s?
to take? Like, I mean, I don't think anyone's doing it. Like,
I guess Base is Base in the lead. I think Base is in the lead, right?
Well, I guess it depends on how you classify the metrics. Are you looking at like TVL? Are you looking at user activity? He is taking the more social.
Base does this thing. Base isn't in the lead as much as they say. All of Coinbase's deposits get loaded onto Base. So it looks like it has Base inflows, but that's actually not the reality.
Yeah.
So their metrics are extremely skewed compared to what they are doing on a day-to-day basis. But I mean, Base is the only other eligible L2, in my opinion, that's actually making waves. So is Abstract making waves? I'm not sure, but at least they're trying to carve out a different niche.
Yeah. Hey, look, if people start making it, I mean, that obviously that tweet attracts me, right? I'm like, shit, man, I need to go over there. We should be streaming this shit over there. Our whole lives over there, right? There's nothing like that kind of like to create the ferocious, like, holy shit. Like even the apes were able to get with their game, right? They were able to get enough attraction of enough money coming in, those rewards that like my kid was like, hey, what's going on with that monkey game, where they're making $1 million? Because whatever, that top, gamer made like $500,000 or something, right? So it penetrated into like the real world, right? And so I think, I'm sure that's Luca's strategy is like, no, how do we get people over here where streamers can make $1 million, can make $50,000 tips in a day, right? And then just attract and create that kind of virtual circle of just more people coming in because they've heard money and, yeah, we'll see if it works, man. It's hard, really hard.
But I mean, have we heard anything about Ape Chain since they've launched? There was a little bit of kind of tokens that were being created. There was like a pump fund thing that lasted a little bit. Anime Chain did they launch, or was it just the token that launched, which is Azuki's kind of chain? I do think though that these like hyper specific niche purpose L2s is really where it's going. They're more like app chains. I do think that's kind of where that's where the vision of Ethereum is, where you just view these app chains more like just specialized servers or websites, right? It's just kind of like the websites of the Web3 or the storefronts.
It tells you a lot that we don't know if they've launched or not, right? Right. It tells you that the Azuki chain is it something like if an L2 launches in the forest and it doesn't make a sound, is it actually live? Like who cares, right? It's like, I don't know, man. It just gets back to my theory. I just don't know about these L2s, man. I don't know. I mean, I know obviously this is going to be a cycle where it kind of shakes out. We've already had one cycle, kind of shaked out that nobody cared. This is like another round and we get to try it again. And obviously better tech, better everything. And I think Pudgy's is going about it the right way. I actually love like their wallet and stuff like that, and I give them a good shot. Like they're going to have a good run, but whether or not people are really willing to go over there and why would they go over there, we'll see.
So what, looking on the counter side, then the Ethereum L2 space is starting to move more socially. I wonder if it's because, and Luca brought this up in the podcast, that NFT companies have had to basically reimagine their business model because there's no royalties anymore. He said that he believes there should be a 1% royalty standard on all NFT collections. And he said that he actually said the NFT market's not going to come back until that happens, because there's no way for users to come in and have a successful mint out and then continue to build, and then there's no incentives in the future. He's like, if not, then they get, they have to get capital funding, which is then considered a negative in the industry. And then if they fail, then they're considered ruggers and they can't come back, right? Because everyone hates them. So you look at it and you think the three kind of top of mind L2s, right? Or at least the NFT ones, right? Maybe it's because, hey, they're not getting royalties, so let's just try to generate fees on the L2 layer. And that's kind of where we make our money. Because apparently Base is like printing insane amount of money. It's like millions of dollars a day on their network. You look at the Bitcoin space and the L2, it's not socially aligned at all. It's more programmable layer for these assets, right? Obviously, the L2 space on Bitcoin is kind of split between, you have these like, I guess you would call stacks, kind of like the general L2 there. It's built in its own language. And then you have things like Merlin, which is focusing on what they're calling BTC-Fi. You have, which is EVM based. You have Arch, which is focusing on Bitcoin DeFi, but quote unquote on the layer one per se, right? And then you have all these different meta protocols that kind of exist for these different types of purposes. So it's there. The L2 space on Bitcoin is not socially aligned at all. It's all for functionality and programmability. But I don't think any of them have really had significant success outside of Stacks. But Stacks also has had almost $100 million in funding since 2017.
Has Stacks been successful? Like, raise your hands in the audience. Who's actually done a transaction on Stacks in the last 6 months? Like, it's zero. It's ghost town. I just, it's ghost town, dude. Let's be honest with it. It's ghost town. Polygon's a ghost town. Other than, look, if you build a good app on, a ghost chain, like it'll work, but that's the only thing that moves the needle. And maybe that is what, if if Luca and them are able to build, hey, a streaming platform over here, there you go. Like that's all you need. You need something to work, something that people want to do other than, I don't know, fucking swap fucking stable coins. Like who gives a fuck?
Just
People
swap.
want to have fun and do shit, dude. It's like, I'm telling you, people like what chain was that on Doginals? Like the one thing you showed us like 2 months ago where it was like swipe left or swipe right for meme coins. I was like, that's a fucking idea. Finally, after like 6 months, like somebody came up with an idea and like I haven't seen it since. But like people want that, dude. That's what people want.
Give the people what they want. So then, we'll wrap this up. Is what's the trend then heading into, this next leg up, or probably this consolidation period, I would guess, for the next maybe 90 days or so? A lot of people are probably going to trade themselves to death even more than where they actually are, when really you just have to kind of hold and just let Trump kind of do his thing. Is it last cycle? It was L2s in the very beginning of the year, right? And then it was meme coins, and then it was launch pads were the big thing, and then it was kind of AI coins at the end of the year. This cycle, I guess runes was in there kind of as well. Is it something new like NFTFi, like we talked about, or do some of these L2s come back and there's this reinvigoration and interest? Something on Ethereum that's maybe interesting, or AI, comes roaring back. If you had to pick two, which two trends do you think, or could you say that it's going to be something different?
You want to have first stab at that, Chris?
For me, I mean, it's no doubt that L2s are going to be, they're going to be everywhere. I mean, Bitcoin raised a bunch of money for L2s. Jake thinks Solana is going to have L2s. I'm sure that some people will come up with some app chains for Solana. Ethereum is at a pressure point where they need to do something. So I'm sure that they'll have even more L2s, because why not? So I don't think L2s are going anywhere. I do think that Bitcoin, it's at $100,000. We talked about it a lot, but that's the biggest milestone of the entire industry. If you've been holding coins for the past 10 years, you were always looking at that $100,000 target. So it makes sense that we kind of chop around here for a while. That's a huge milestone. And I just think it's like a sign of the maturity of the industry. It's ready for the next level, not necessarily ready to advance past it, but we're at the level. So I think kind of stacking here is it's a pretty serious point, because lower than 100K, there's a ton of panic and there's a bunch of washout. Every leverage position gets washed out under 100K. Went to 92K, you would clear the entire leverage field. So does that happen? Probably at some point, but we'll see, and then maybe up to 130, 150, 160, maybe 200K in a crazy market. But I mean, if we have a year of maybe bull market left, I mean, a year is a long time to get crazy. It's a long time to get crazy. So I think L2s, and then I agree with you on Bitcoin. And then I just think that the AI sector is so small, and I just can't help but get excited about the crypto AI space. I think that that's the biggest opportunity. I wasn't the first generation crypto AIs, the TAOs, the everything else. It didn't excite me, like these agentic kind of movements and what we can do with agents and autonomous agents on chain. And so I look for that to get a lot bigger. That's where my money is.
Dogfather, what do you got?
Yeah, I think it's kind of a no-brainer that Bitcoin is pretty strong this cycle. I mean, every statistic shows that the market dominance, it's now consolidating above 100, not below. I mean, this is already pretty cool, right? And so I don't give exact numbers, but I think what Chris was saying is pretty realistic, that this is a range we could see if the cycle continues a bit. And I'm relatively bullish on this whole AI stuff, because I mean, AI is just way bigger than crypto, and crypto is just giving those agents funding, right? So the AI stuff makes a whole lot of sense using all the blockchain data, which is highly complex, and giving those dudes now the chance to issue tokens and to pay other agents doing stuff for them. I think this will be an extremely interesting field. I mean, picking the winner is very, very hard. of course, but I think you need to have some exposure over there. I mean, you need to have some. Otherwise, I mean, maybe there's some investment DAOs or some indices that you can track, because that's an extremely fast evolving field. So I think one of the most interesting use cases is just have some investment DAO and pick, you know, strong momentum and blue chip AI tokens, and then, you know, let other people who don't have the time to be in the trenches in this area invest into these blue chips.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I said that a bunch of times. AI definitely is my number one. I'd say just leaning into. I don't think memes are going anywhere. I don't think meme coin trading is going anywhere. Not that memes, you know, are going to rise again to their levels or higher. I mean, there are a lot of people who just think, okay, whatever, Mog's going to be at $20 billion. Do I think that's necessarily true? No. But I do believe, you know, crypto's absolute best dominating use case in the real world is gambling, and meme coins is just hyper gambling, fresh every day, brand new set of, you know, gambles to make. And it doesn't necessarily have to be meme coins. I mean, I don't know why there isn't a great sports book yet that is, you know, run by a DAO or something like that, where, you know, participants can take place and just bet on sports and stuff. Maybe there is, but like just gambling in general, I don't think that's going anywhere. And so I don't think, you know, pump fun's going to die this year. I think that only continues. As, you know, all I see on my timeline when I'm watching NFL or whatever is about how the games are rigged, and, you know, Vegas rigs these games and stuff. It's like, why are you paying a big vig to place your bets on, you know, on one of these apps in the States when you could just crypto gamble? I think it's just a way better experience. And so that would be my number 2 slot. I would look for something new in that space, because that space is still wide open for innovation.
I would say, yeah, I'm still bullish AI tokens. Obviously, we also have our hustle hall tomorrow. So we'll have Shannon on the call, and we're going to talk about everything AI from the AI project. So obviously all the coins are pretty slaughtered, but the return of the builders is what will be important. I actually think this is the beginning of the pendulum swinging towards utility tokens. We've mentioned that there's 6 months, they have 180 days, maybe it's like 173 days now, to create a framework for crypto regulation in the United States. I assume this is probably when a lot of companies are starting to get funded with utility DeFi kind of focus, whether it's turning on the rev share stream, or it's, I don't know, the next fucking 10th alt L1 smart contract million TPS thing, whatever they want to do. Or it's the application layer that starts getting funded with native tokens that do something. Like, for example, Farouk's company is doing a token for their prediction betting platform called Myriad on Abstract. Obviously, they're not just going to have it a meme coin. They're going to do something with it. They've attempted to do something like that in the past with the rug token, which didn't work out, but they're still rewarding users for the past kind of behaviors, right? This is the same thing we're doing with our token is, hey, we tried this token, it didn't work out, but we're still committed to building, you know, something with utility. And now we're actually going to have some sort of guidelines on being able to go about it. And so we're going to move forward. I suspect it's not just us with keys, and it's not just Farouk's company with the Myriad token. I suspect there's probably a few dozen of these teams out there that are here who are going to do that. So, you know, maybe we set the trend with that, as we were the first one to announce this months ago. Or maybe it was even kind of Frank did this with DGods and formed everything together, although there's no real utility for it. But I do think there's probably a lot of teams who are going to start announcing this and come back and try to rebuild their utility framework. So I'm looking for those type of teams.
Let's do it.
Let's go. So tomorrow, the Hustle Hall, it's just going to be us with Shannon, and we're going to talk about AI and see what the vision is. I've been writing this hustle paper. We got to make some edits and stuff, so still, you know, a little bit away, but almost done with it. And we're going to have some fun. And I think the next 90 days are very important for the AI space. So until then, everybody enjoy your Wednesday. We'll be back here tomorrow. at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. Until then, stay safe, make some money, and we'll see you soon.
Take
Merry
care.
Christmas.